looks at the gravity percent, because gravity is always on. True? There are principles in life as certain as gravity that when we understand and apply, help us fly well. Okay? So great friends always tell the truth. Great friends always hold us accountable for the truth. Great friends expect the best of us, Michael. And they will never put us in harm's way. So we're here to talk about, now, most people, when you hear about mental wellness, you're like, I'm not crazy. I don't need to talk to a shrink. Well, I'm not a shrink, so you can talk to me. I have friends that are shrinks who I talk to. And I mean that in a very real way. They're some of my great friends. So today we're going to talk about it. How many of you, raise your hand if you've ever run out of gas in your vehicle before? Some of you guys drive Teslas. You're like, we don't do that. Anybody here run out of gas in the last week? Why not? I grew up. What do you mean? Planning what? Tell me.
We fill up before we run out.
We fill up. How do we know when to fill up? Tell me your name.
Alan.
Alan. Do you want one of these or one of these?
Fruit.
Fruit. One of these.
Bruno.
Okay. So there's a gauge. What do you mean, Alan? Okay. So in the olden days, those of you who are like my age or older know that we just had a gauge, right? And then we got a little light that comes on. So the gauge wasn't enough. We got a little light. You've seen the little light. And some vehicles now have this little annoying beeper, right? So if we didn't pay attention to the gauge, we didn't pay attention to the light, we get the beeper that says, you don't get gas now, you're going to be pushing your car to the station. That works because nobody ran out of gas last week. What systems do you have in place that you rely on like you do that gauge, Alan, to make sure that mentally and emotionally and physically, spiritually, in a great place? Do you have systems? Guess what? The happiest, healthiest, most successful people on the planet do. So let's learn from the best so we can be our best. Everybody good with that? Now, guys, this is an interactive presentation. We have people all over that are joining us. And so if you have questions or if they have questions, I want to answer the question. This is not about me getting through the PowerPoint that I don't have. I didn't put up a PowerPoint because guess what? You guys matter more. Not about me getting through an agenda. It's about me helping you. That's what Garrett and I are here for. That's what this is about. Because this is not a job. Now, I know for some of you are like, well, yeah, it is. And job is sometimes a 4-letter word, right? Sometimes we're like, oh, crap, I got to go to work. Guess what? I love what I do. I get up in the morning, I'm excited. I'm like, I get to meet with you guys. I meet the most amazing people on the planet who want to live life better. What could be better than that? Helping people live the most amazing lives. So today, I've selected some of my favorite books. This is some of the greatest information. You know that people don't read anymore. I think that might be part of the problem. Or sometimes we read, but we don't read stuff that really matters. Okay. So this is just a selection of some of my faves. You guys, there's a great library here. It's a great opportunity through Marathon, through Duncan, to participate in leadership programs to be the best that you can be. That's what this is all about. So I want to help everyone. How many, you guys all raise your hand, said you want to thrive. How many of you guys want to thrive? Everybody raise your hand. I'm just pretending, right? Because I don't know. I'm going to share with you right now a tool. I'm going to invite everybody here to be more present. If you're more present, is that gooder or not? Yeah, that's great English. My English teacher doesn't love it. But being present is one of the best things you can do to feel great. So we're going to do a little exercise right now. It's very simple. It's not dangerous. Nobody's going to, collapse and die. So I want everybody first to just kind of shake your neck out and your shoulders. Then we're going to do a thing called mindfulness breathing. It's one of the most simple things. When we're done, I'm going to ask a few of you to tell me what happened for you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, then we're going to do it. First, we're going to close our eyes. Now, you can do this anywhere, but if you're driving or operating heavy equipment or surgery, Garrett, don't close your eyes, okay? But otherwise, you can do mindfulness breathing. If you close your eyes while you're driving, the people around you get really nervous. You're relaxed and calm, so it's not a problem until you hit something. So we'll close our eyes. We're going to take a big deep breath in through our nose. We'll hold that for just a couple of seconds. And then we're going to exhale slowly through the mouth. Don't worry about the cadence. I'll help you with that. If you have to breathe a little sooner than I do, that's okay. We'll do it 4 to 5 times. All right, everybody close your eyes. Big breath in through the nose. It's better if you can hear it. And now exhale slowly through the mouth. Now smell the roses. And blow out the candles. Smell the sunshine. Let out the worry. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Last one, big breath in. Let go of all the stress. Now, when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. You tell me how you feel. Anybody? Relax. Relax. What else? Anybody feel more here? Calm, centered, grounded. Those are words that I often hear. Guess what? I've had people with extreme anxiety, so afraid they couldn't even get out of their bed, use this single tool and change their life. Guys, it's not that hard. But most of us don't do it. Now, most people think, okay, the next time I'm stressed, I'm going to remember to do mindfulness breathing. How many of you think that works? It doesn't, because when you're stressed, are you going to remember to do mindfulness breathing? No, because we're not thinking, we're reacting. So the frontal cortex right here, the thinking part of your brain, guys, if you were taking tests, Daniel here. There you are. Daniel was taking a test here. I didn't get to him before he took his test. But Daniel, do you know that if before you took that test, you would have done 5 mindfulness breaths, and then in the middle, depending on how long it is, you do 5 more. And then before you check your answers and submit it, you do 5 mindfulness breaths at least once. But if you do it more than once during a test, you'll get a better score. It's proven scientifically every single time. So if you're about to do something that's really hard, takes a lot of thought and focus, what should you do? Mindfulness breathing. Now, guess what? If you're living in a world where you're dealing with a lot of stress, the best thing you can do isn't just to think the next time I'm stressed, I'm going to do mindfulness breathing. It's to actually set a timer. Do it when you wake up in the morning, do it at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and do it before you go to bed. What will you feel? More relaxed, more present, more centered. Guess what? If you want more than that, set an alarm. Set an alarm to go off every 20 minutes. Now, some people, the boss is going, oh yeah, I don't want you doing mindfulness breathing every 20 minutes. How much production am I going to lose? Guess what? Your production will increase. Why? Because we think better. When we think better, we feel better. When we think better and feel better, we make better choices. How many of you want to make better choices? How many of you think that if you're more present, your relationships will get better? I promise it's true. So, is this helping so far? So here we go. We're going to create systems because healthy people have systems that work. And you can have a system that works, but if you choose not to rely on it, what will happen? It's not going to work for you. We have gas gauges, but I was driving up State Street not too long ago. And in front of me, this guy in this Jeep, right? Really cool Jeep. He's driving and he's getting slower and slower out down. I'm thinking, what the heck's going on? So I'm one of those nice guys. I like to help where I can. So I pulled over in front of his Jeep. I get out, I walk back. I'm like, is everything okay? He goes, no, I ran out of gas. I said, bummer, dude. Guess what was behind him less than a block? A gas station. Is he relying on a system? No. So I said, what's your plan? Now he's big and buff, like buffer than all of us. I mean, we've got Kobe back here, bench presses 500 pounds, right-handed. I mean, I don't know. I said, what's your plan? He says, I'm going to push my Jeep to the gas station at the block ahead. Right now, I know it's not smart to go back and try and cross 5 lanes of traffic. But guess what? It's a little uphill climb. Do you think this guy, as buff as he is going to push his Jeep up there through an intersection, make a right-hand 90-degree corner up the hill into the gas station? Think he's going to get his Jeep there by himself? Is his life just harder than it was a few minutes ago? Let's make life easy. So I helped him out. I hooked my tow strap onto his Jeep and I told him this is what we're going to do, right? Sometimes we think we know, but sometimes we don't do what we know. Fair? Guys, the most successful people on the planet employ coaches, mentors, and counselors. Let me say that again. The most successful people on the planet employ coaches, mentors, and counselors. Is that true? Have you had a few coaches, mentors, and counselors in your life? Has it helped you? Are you better because of it? Does that help you help other people? Guys, I work with coaches, mentors, and counselors all the time. I've spent thousands of dollars and thousands of hours so that I could be the best. I'm not the best, but I'm better than I was. And really, that's what matters, Michael. Is that we're a little better today than we were yesterday. Anybody have any questions? We're doing okay? Now, I realize that when I ask a question like that, y'all are like, well, I'm not going to ask any questions because you got a tie on and you're a counselor. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor. I'm whatever you want me to be, as long as it helps you be the best that you can be. Okay? And I'm heart attack serious about that. And so is this guy. Matter of fact, when I came and interviewed, this first guy I met. This organization. And we talked. And I thought, you know what? I want to be a part of this. So here I am. I'm glad that y'all hired me. So you can fire me too. Who here knows Michael Jordan? You guys maybe have heard of him. Great baseball player, right?
No.
Why are you laughing?
He plays basketball.
Because he plays.
Basketball.
Are you sure?
Good hope.
Did he play baseball?
Yeah.
How long did he play baseball? Yeah, year and a half-ish. Did he ever play in a Major League Baseball game? No, he was on a minor league team. How come he never made it to the majors? Because he was not as good at baseball as he was at. How good is he at basketball? Is he in the top 10 of the NBA? You bet he is. Do you know who the number one three-point shot person is in the NBA today? LeBron James. Do you know what his shooting percentage is from the field? Now, he makes more shots than he misses, true? 55%. How many of you, Daniel, if you got 55% on your test today, would you be giving me a thumbs up saying, woo? But he's shooting 55%. Guess what? He's the number one in the NBA. We need to start looking at things and asking ourselves, hey, what does it look like to be a little better? If he becomes 56%, is that a pretty significant improvement? Bet it is. Guess what? There's a great book that talks about being 1% better. How many of you read Atomic Habits? I didn't see it over there. I would have pulled it. What'd you think about it? Awesome. If we create Atomic Habits, Jared, what's going to happen in our life? It's going to get better or worse?
This is what happens.
If we create Atomic Habits, it will get better. Yeah. Understand, that's like gravity. If we understand the principle and we live according to the principle, it's going to get better, not worse. Okay. So, how many of you, I know we fix planes here. We do everything. You guys do some amazing stuff. I got to walk around and kind of drool at some of the planes and look at what you guys do. It's amazing. If that plane's in the air and the oxygen mask falls from the compartment in front of your face, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Put on your mask. Okay. Now, let's imagine we're all on the plane. We're going to our favorite vacation destination. We're getting approval for this, I think, sometime soon. Now, I can say stuff like that because it's my first and last day. But if we're all on the plane, now, guys, if we're on the plane, now I realize these are not like the standard planes because there's no first class. They're all first class here. All right, that's the best. But if we're on a regular plane, I'm going to do everything I can to sit in the exit row. Okay. Unless I get upgraded to first class. I like first class, but I don't like to pay for first class. Right? Yeah. So I'm in the exit row. The mask falls from the compartment in front of our face, and I like to help people. So I jump up and I start putting everybody else's mask on. Do you guys need me to help you put your mask on? No. So what's going to happen to me if there's no oxygen in the cabin? How many masks do you think I'm getting on, Michael?
Yeah. Couple.
Because when I come to help you, you're like, hey, I got this, right? I mean, you guys can do your own mask. So now I'm passed out in the aisle. Is that a problem for anybody here but me? Who is it a problem for? Everybody trying to get out of the plane. You want fruit snacks? Or you want granola? So everybody getting out of the plane now have the decision. Do I step on Darren? Do I step over Darren? Or do I drag his sorry backside off the plane because he didn't do what? Put on his mask. Guess what? We call that self-care. Self-care is not essential, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's not, sorry, I did that wrong. Let me start over. Self-care is essential. It's not selfish. If we care for ourselves well, right? If I get proper rest, proper nutrition, proper activity level, is that a good thing for you? You bet it is. Because if you need me to help you off the plane, do you want me to be the best that I can be? Absolutely you do. So we're going to talk about some of those tools that you can use. I call those the big three: proper rest, proper nutrition, proper activity levels. How many of you have never heard that that's a good thing for you to do? Not a surprise. Now, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but I want you to ask yourself, how am I doing? What does my gauge say? Am I on empty when it comes to mentally filling my tank? Because whose ship is it? It's yours, right, Beth? You got to take care of you because you can't help us if you don't. It's true for every one of us. So the big three: you want to stay out of a clinical office because you're stressed or anxious or any of those things. Guess what? The number one thing I'm going to tell you: proper rest, proper nutrition, proper activity levels. Do you know what I know 100% for certain? Those two people that are not with us today, they probably knew it, but they didn't do it. Fair? It's not a judgment. I'm going to say it to you again. You matter. There's a reason you're here. And if you're not, you can't help us. We can't be better without you. You're part of the team. And I don't mean just the team here at Duncan. I mean the team of life. We're all in University of Life. How many want to graduate with honors? I sure do. Those people who really live, those people who thrive, they understand this. They employ coaches, mentors, and counselors. Now, let's go back to Michael Jordan. Why did Michael Jordan not continue to play baseball? Is it because I'm embarrassed to be in the minor league team? Do you know what Michael Jordan did? Every morning of practice, he showed up early. See, Michael Jordan's a champion. Michael Jordan understands this. He was asked one day, what's the difference between a peak performing athlete and somebody who's pretty good? Peak performing athletes are Kobe Bryant's and Michael Jordan's and LeBron James. Right? I'm not trying to, exclude anybody. Michael Jordan, when he was asked, what's the difference between a peak performing athlete and somebody who's just good? He said, oh, that's easy. It's mindset. Mindset is not positive mental attitude. Positive mental attitude says, oh, yeah, doc, my triglycerides are high. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Right? Positive mindset says everything's going to be okay. Is that real? It's not going to be okay if we don't do something about it. Michael Jordan said, athletes that are peak performing athletes, they identify the things in their life that need to change, and then they do something about it. He says, if I miss a shot, I don't raise my hand and say, hey, coach, I got to get out. I developed a mindset that says, I missed that one. I'll get that next. Remember, the number one guy is 3-point shots. It's 55%. Most people aren't thrilled to get a 55% score. I'll bet you he's over the moon. The number one athletes in the world win by fractions of a second. It's all about that little change. It's all about us paying attention to the gauges, Alan. It's all about us saying, what do I do to move that just a little bit, to make things a little bit better? It's making sense? Guys, it's an honor for me to be here. I will do anything I can, but guess what? I will always be a great friend to you. I will always tell you the truth. If you're saying, hey, it's okay, I can do this. I don't have to sleep at night and I'll be okay. How many of you cannot sleep at night for 2 or 3 nights in a row and really be okay? You can't. How many of you cannot? Anybody here drive a Ferrari? No Ferrari drivers? Porsche? Lamborghinis? I've driven a Ferrari and a Porsche. One day I'm going to drive a Formula One car. If you had a Formula One car, by the way, they start out about $2.5 million a piece. There are no foot pedals in a Formula One car. It's all right here. Do you know why? Because your hand reactions are faster than feet reactions for most people. That car goes so fast that if you hit the gas and you don't know what you're doing, you're going to wrap yourself around a light pole or slam into a concrete barrier and you're dead that fast. I don't know if I'll ever get that dream, but it's on my bucket list because I think it's really, really cool. Do you think that if I had a Formula One race car that I'd pull into the local gas station right down the road and just fill it up with whatever's there? No. Think about what you're putting in your Formula One race car. Think about how you feed it mentally and emotionally and physically and spiritually and socially. because it matters. So start seeing yourself as someone who matters, because I promise you do. And I'm here to help you understand that so that we can all be better. Fair? You guys okay? I've asked already. Nobody's had any questions. Any questions? I got one more fruit now. No more fruit snacks. I just have granola bars. So let me give you a couple more tools. Simon Sinek, his book's here somewhere, right there. Just start with why. Anybody here ever do gratitude stuff? Awesome. Did it help you? Tell me your name.
Cody?
Cody, how long did you do gratitude stuff? Are you still doing it?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, if I say to you, Cody, that I'm really grateful that you're here, how's that feel for you?
All right.
It's kind of, yeah, it's all right. But if I say to now, Cody, I've never met you before. True?
Yeah.
If I say to you, Cody, you know, it makes a lot of difference to me that you took time out of your day, that you're here and you're willing to participate. Does that feel any different for you?
Yeah, I'm more out there.
Do you know why? Because I told you why. Guess what happens to you and I, ladies and gentlemen, when we can identify why something matters? It changes us. We think different, we feel different, we become different. So my invitation is not just to sit down at the end of the day and write down 3 reasons why you're grateful. Really want to change the neural pathway in your brain? Identify why. You told me just now why it made a difference, because there was a connection there that never happened before. Guess what? The reason we have more depression, anxiety, and mental illness in the world today, the reason we are not functioning well is because we don't connect like we used to. Because back in the olden days, if I wanted to talk to you, I walked down the street and I knocked on your door and I said, hey, Joe, so good to see you. Do you have a minute we can talk? We connected. How many of you have seen me in the hall as we walked around? Anybody? When you saw me in the hall, did we have any interaction at all? What was our interaction like? How are you? Did I listen? Fabulous. Yeah. Did I invite you to come today? Yeah. Now you probably were coming anyway because you wanted to get squawk and yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Makes a difference, doesn't it? I was in a class very much like this several years ago, and one of the people in the class 2.5 weeks later didn't come. I won't tell your name for privacy's sake, because we know all about HIPAA now. But guess what? I was different because she wasn't there. That weekend before our class, she had collapsed in her apartment and died. Made a difference in my world. I remember that like it was yesterday, because we remember those feelings that we have. We remember those connections. That's what this is about. The reason that we struggle in the world today is because we are not connected. So can I invite you to stop sending all? Now, is it cool to say, I love you, I really like you, you matter to me in a text? You bet. But it's going to make a whole lot more difference if you can take time and sit down. Now, if the only way that you have to communicate is right there, text or email, guess what? One of the best things you can do is say, hey, you know what, Joe, I really appreciate this. And this is the difference. This is why it's made a difference to me. And when you send that and you receive it, both of us feel different. Guys, this is real. We can be better. We can do better. So fill the tank mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and socially. Connect in ways that matter. Know what you are filling your Formula One car with, because that matters. Okay, let's make a difference. So quick wrap up. Happy, successful people do what? Proper self-care, because it's essential. Say it. Self-care is
Essential.
self-care is
Essential.
okay. Now, normally I would say I want you to commit to that, but I want you to make a commitment to yourself, because that matters more than if you. Now, if you want to make a commitment to me, guess what? You're more likely to do it. Okay, I'm here for you. Successful, happy people are coachable. Michael Jordan left his baseball career, went back to basketball because his coach said, Michael, you're a gifted athlete. I don't know exactly what he said, but you're better at basketball than you are at baseball. And Michael didn't just hear it, he did it. Successful people are coachable. That means we hear and we do, but we have to make sure that it's based in true principle, because gravity is always real. There are principles as solid as gravity that I promise will change your world, and you understand and apply. And successful people use systems that work and they rely on it. It is awesome to be with you. Let's go out and make the world a better place. We do that by being successful as individuals because you are the common denominator in every relationship that you are in. So proper self-care is essential. Thanks so much. You guys are awesome. We have stuff up here. Come on, Sam. Health food.
Again, as a reminder, the squad number for this is right there on the grid. If you could please sign that you came, we'll take out a credit for it.
Hey, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've got both Claudia